that's a good transition because I wanted to talk a little postseason before we ended. You wrote an article on Bleacher Nation about, the bye week and how it benefits. It actually really does benefit. And I know last year with all the teams that had the bye, I believe they all lost last year, and the Phillies lost this year too.
But it was 3 out of 4. Otherwise,
3 out of 4, yeah. 3 out of 4 advanced, and I found it very interesting because it's like, I tend to agree. Like, you want to try and get the bye, and now you got 3 of the 4 best teams in baseball playing here at the end in the championship series. As much as I hate 3 of the 4, and the fact that the other one has a lower payroll than the Cubs, and that gives me pain, I am intrigued to see what happens this championship series.
Yeah, no, I mean, listen, and Jeff Passan tweeted something about it, and I reshared my article. This is not up for debate. This isn't like my opinion. Yeah. It is, of course, objectively better, and I'm understand and appreciate why you pointed out, like last year, that it's like you're playing blackjack and you hit on 20 and you get an ace, and someone's like, see, like that was the right thing. No, like that was obviously that wasn't what was supposed to happen.
Yeah.
Why would you want worse odds? You know what I mean? So anyway, the point of that my article is getting at, that Cody's teeing up here, is that the goal for the Cubs cannot be what appears to be the goal, which is just get into the playoffs every year and see what happens, even if you're the third wild card, because it's baseball. And it's like, I know that's true, but no, how about we aim for being the first or second seed? And anything less than that is like, okay, hope for the best. But if you're the first or second seed, you're giving yourself a real chance. And if that's the goal, and if that's what you're building towards, the expectations will be higher. What you need to do in the offseason to get to that point will be higher. Like, that needs to be the success story, not had they made the playoffs by a game last year or snuck in this year as one of the wild cards, but the miracle run. That's not a success. That's a successful failure. You know what I'm saying? Like, the success is you're one of the top 2 teams in your league, one of the top 4 teams in baseball. That's a reasonable goal for the Chicago Cubs to aim for. You know what I mean? Like, that's what needs to be the goal. And it's because the math is overwhelmingly in favor of getting a bye, resting your players, setting up your rotation, resting your relievers. Things like momentum matter and all that stuff is real, but that's still just tweaking the odds a little bit back in what has already been a hole that you dug yourself by having to play these extra games. So
I think that's another thing that people don't think about, is just like the odds that you win the World Series get lower, and because if you play in the first round, just because it's the odds that you lose that first round are going to be higher. Or the odds that you're playing more baseball is going to make them lower, right? So like,
it's a 3-game series.
Yeah, exactly. So having that bye
can win.
Yeah, having that bye, regardless of the rest or any of this other stuff, like your odds that you're going to win the World Series are higher just based on playing fewer games, not having to play that wild card round.
Yep.
Yeah, and it's. I think it makes it fun in general, just for someone like me, the last handful of years, who doesn't have a dog in the fight. But I would love to see the Cubs be in the position to, whether it's get the bye or just be in the playoffs. It's such a sad state of affairs of where we're at, where I'm just like, I don't really care how you do it.
But you wouldn't have cared. I wouldn't have cared last year or this year, maybe. With the expectation that going into next year, now, you know what I mean? But we just missed twice. So now, in 4 times or 7 times, So next year, we're just supposed to still hope to just get in. Like, do we never get to climb the mountaintop? Is it always that? Because that seems to be what the play is of the front office. And statistically, there might be some math there that it's just like, keep rolling the dice, keep rolling the dice. It's like, in the meantime, you're losing. People are losing interest, and it's
and you're not even in
years are going on,
and you're not even in a tough division. I do think the division will continue to improve like it did this year, but none of those teams are going to ever go out and outspend you.
Not even close,
right? And so it's like you have the opportunity to be able to kind of use that ability that you have to put yourself over the top, and maybe there will be a random year in there where one of those teams is better than what many expect, like the Brewers this year, for example, right? But the Cubs should obviously, especially with this expanded playoffs, they should always be at least in there somewhere. And it, again, leads back to how I feel about everything else. But yeah, I just found it very interesting because, again, it's, you want to get the bye, right? Like, and I think it's
that's
shown.
What I'm saying. So why are we acting like that's like, obviously that's good. You know what I mean? Like, if you ask you poll all 30 presidents, would you rather have the bye or not? 30 out of 30 will say, yeah, of course. Of course, you rather have it. And as far as I'm concerned, those wild card slots should be for the teams that are like on the rise, young team kind of overperforming and surprises and gets in. Like, that's when you should be excited to get those playoff spots. You shouldn't be when you have a $240 million payroll in a terrible division and haven't made the playoffs, you know, if we don't count 2020 since 2017, right? Or 18, whatever it was.
Yeah, whatever it is.
Yeah.
Like, what are we talking about? Like, come on.
We all silly like the mayor.